Welcome back to GA Fan TV. Galway 220, Sligo 12 points. Galway are Connacht senior football champions, back-to-back Connacht senior football champions. Once again, they have beaten Sligo by a comprehensive and comfortable scoreline, and probably a scoreline that realistically, I think very much everyone probably expected coming into the game in the end. A 14-point win for the Tribesmen on a game that, spelled very little difficulty for Galway. Obviously, you would have expected this Galway in a league final a couple of weeks ago. Sligo, obviously, in a Division 4 final a couple of weeks ago. There's certainly a huge gap between these two sides, and it's certainly nothing new, in terms of getting a scoreline like this. But look, you do have to commend Sligo at the same time. Like, they started quite well. Obviously, Pat Spillane Jr. got himself an early score. Sean Carabine got a free as well. And to be fair, you could see Sligo's game plan sitting in deep, trying to nullify Galway, trying to make it tough for them, and basically asking the question of Galway, can you break us down? And you felt like once Galway got going and once they got their flow going, they were going to find the answers. And, they got a score in the third minute from Dylan McHugh. Ian Burke scored a couple of minutes later. And then obviously the goal from Matthew Tierney. I mean, what a fantastic ball from, I think it was John Daly, who played the sort of outside of the boot pass into Damien Comer. Wonderful catch, slots it into Matthew Tierney, who then puts it into the back of the net. And the second goal was similar as well. It was Damien Comer who again, drives straight through the middle, hand passes it into Matthew Tierney. Originally, you're thinking, Tierney could hand pass that in the back of the net, but he has the composure to just take possession, skip around the goalkeeper with ease, and then put it into the back of the net. It was a wonderful, wonderful finish indeed from a Galway point of view. And yeah, you have to say, like, what a comfortable performance from Galway. But look, there was a lot of standout players like Matthew Tierney. I think you could arguably say, on the basis of 2023, is possibly footballer of the year so far. Like, he had an extraordinary league campaign. He was quiet enough in the league final, in fairness. And he was quite involved in the Roscommon game, but he probably didn't have as much of an impact as Damien Comer. But he's definitely in the conversation. Like, a really, really solid performance. 2-7 in total from him today. Two very, very well taken goals. I think all of his points were from play as well, which was very impressive. And he was very, very good indeed. And, like, when you look at Galway, like, they've had a lot of under-20 graduates in the last couple of seasons. Obviously, Dylan McHugh has won, Sean Kelly, Jack Lynn, Matthew Tierney obviously being another. They have a wealth of options, and they're showing what can be done in terms of getting players up from that under-20 grade into their senior team. And he was absolutely outstanding, to be fair. And Ian Burke as well, like, getting on the score sheet, couple of points from him. I think Galway need to get him up to speed, need to get him ticking, because obviously this is his first season in a while playing inter-county football. We all know his ability and everything else, but it's been a quiet enough season from him probably so far. But got on the score sheet, couple of points. Obviously got a black card for his troubles as well. And yeah, like Shane Walsh, quiet enough game from him once again. Obviously gets substituted around the 40th minute. Definitely not entirely happy, was he, when he was coming off there. And it's interesting. Like, and to be fair, like, if I was a Galway supporter, I wouldn't be worried by any stretch of the imagination that Shane Walsh isn't producing his best football, because the fact that Galway are still looking as good as they are when he's maybe not playing at his best, I think only goes to show the quality of players that Galway have. And I think secondly as well, like, when it gets to Croke Park, he's more often going to click into gear, and that's probably when he's going to play his best stuff, in my opinion. And could you argue maybe the fact that, like, it was obviously a long club season with Kilmacud Crokes. He takes a break throughout the entirety of the league. It hasn't looked like it's quite clicked for him since coming back from that sort of break and everything else. And, hopefully with the group stages and everything else, you'll see him click into gear. And whether he starts or not versus Tyrone, you'd expect him to feature at some point. And you'd expect him to make some sort of an impact, in fairness. Killian McDade, obviously back in the side, got himself a well-taken point, in fairness. Johnny Heaney, another good performance from him, 2 points. Peter Cook, obviously, on the score sheet as well. And from a Sligo point of view, like, obviously when they played Galway, or when they played Mayo, I should say, a good couple of years ago, I think they were beaten by 20, 25 points. A 14-point defeat isn't the worst defeat in the books. Like, I don't think Galway were at their brilliant best. I don't think they necessarily needed to be. I think they were playing at probably 60, 70% throughout the majority of the game. And for Sligo, like they contended well with Galway in the first half, and then the more the game went on, obviously Galway started to pull away, due to their quality. But Sligo will take positives in terms of some of their forwards. I mean, Noel Murphy scored 3 points, Sean Carabine with 4, Dara Cummins with 2 as well. There was some good displays there from Sligo, and obviously Sligo football under 20 finalists now, having beaten Kerry yesterday. Sligo football is on the rise, and I think a result like this will only serve well for the players on the panel. They're they're probably gonna be on the end of some defeats this season. You'd imagine, obviously, probably going to be a big defeat to Dublin, possibly similar to Roscommon as well. They'll fancy their chances with Kildare. They'll fancy their chances there. Maybe that game will be at Markovich Park as well. That'll certainly be the game they'll be targeting. And if they win that game in the group stages, they'll probably finish third, because I know Kildare nearly beat Dublin a couple of weeks ago, but you'd be surprised if Kildare took points off Dublin or Roscommon. So there's a possible for Sligo still to progress even beyond the group stages, and for the team as well, and for the players that they have, I think this will serve as a learning curve. They're a county that's definitely on the rise. Back-to-back under-20 Connacht titles, I think, proves that it's not just a once-off, and you're going into that All-Ireland final probably maybe as one of, possibly favourites. Kildare will certainly fancy their chance in that under-20 All-Ireland final. But I think Sligo is in a good place, and I think a result like this is not a slight on Sligo football at all. I don't even think I really need to mention that. I don't think anyone thinks that anyway. But yeah, comfortable by Galway, and certainly a result I think we expected, in fairness. Porrick says Matthew Tierney 2-7, Connacht final today, maybe highest ever for provincial football final ever. Frank McGuigan scored 11 in Ulster final back in time. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that statistic. If that is true, that's definitely incredible stuff from Matthew Tierney there. And obviously all of which was from play as well, I believe, which was very impressive in fairness. Shawnee K says game never in doubt, even though Sligo played decent enough. Hard to watch games when the result is not in doubt. Kerry v Clare, probably the same. Yeah, and obviously that game is just about to start in a couple of minutes' time. I think the Kerry Clare, probably be similar, but maybe a slower, a lesser distance. I think it's, Clare have been more or less around Division 2. They have played teams of the highest standard in the last 5 or 6 years, whereas Sligo haven't, But to be fair to Sligo, I worried when those 2 first half goals went in from Matthew Tierney. I thought maybe Sligo could unravel here. They're not used to this. They're not used to this sort of game, these players. And I thought maybe it could end up being 3, 4, maybe 5 goals. But it wasn't the case. And maybe you could say Galway took their foot off the gas. But at the same time, I do think you have to commend Sligo for keeping their heads. Galway never got out of second gear. Didn't have to. Division 4 playing Division 1, says Tom. Mikey says Sligo were on top for the first 3 minutes, and that was as good as it got for the 8th span. Yeah, I'm sure the men from Sligo were asking the ref to blow it up, I think, after 2 or 3 minutes. But yeah, you knew once Galway kicked into gear, and it took them 9 minutes until they obviously get their first goal. It was a level game up until that point. You were looking at it and thinking, could there be maybe a bit of a slower game here? But you knew once Galway clicked, it was going to be too much for Galway, or too much for Sligo, and that was definitely the case in fairness. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I think man of the match goes without saying. It's obviously Matthew Tierney. I mean, it was an extraordinary performance from him. Damien Comer once again, setting up both goals. He's definitely more of a creator these days, isn't he? He's setting up a lot of scores, a lot of chances around him, and even though he didn't score, it was another really, really top-class performance from him. Ian Burke with 2 points. John Daly, I thought, had a very good game as well. Johnny Heaney with 2 as well. So, yeah, very, very strong performance by Galway. Certainly one we expected. And, it'll be interesting now to see how they get on against Tyrone. That will be a big, big game in the opening day of the group stages as well. Can't remember who's in that group off the top of my head now, but I think Armagh might be in there as well if they get beat by Derry. But yeah, no, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be interesting, and certainly looking forward to that game versus Tyrone. That Galway Sligo was very boring, but congrats to Galway. I was hoping Sligo would put it up to them. Yeah, I think we all were, but I think it was a result I think we were expecting. But yeah, let me know your opinions in the comments down below. We'll do a reaction after Kerry versus Clare as well. That game's just thrown in just about now. So yeah, let me know your opinions in the comments down below, and I'll speak to you all soon.